This is a very competitive category. In the US alone, I believe there's 3,000 beer brands. Globally, that's going to be 12,000 beer brands. So there's always someone coming for you in this category. And I think if you forget that part of amaze and delight your drinkers, you're going to find yourself off the list. And you know, this is also a momentum business. And when momentum, either positive or negative, starts, you need to pay attention to it. If you've got positive momentum, what's driving it and what can we do more of? If you've got negative momentum, you've got to understand what's driving that as well, or you have a mounting problem year on year on year. And some of the brands that drop off the list, I think, have ignored the negative momentum they've had, and that problem only gets worse with each year.
So I think we're seeing the category in decline, and I think that's really interesting because a lot of that may be due to market slowing, but it also may be a shift in kind of values and what people kind of, what's important to them. So millennials, for example, wanting authenticity, wanting brands that have a strong purpose, wanting brands that allow them to have creativity and individuality. And I think brands that allow them to do that is really important. So brands like Burberry that have really kind of delivered that piece of authenticity and creativity have done really well and are really growing.
We think that the category is really full of disruption, and brands who come in and disrupt a category, whether that be an Amazon or to a Salesforce or an Apple with the iPhone, really differentiate themselves and really in leaps and bounds above their competitors.
I thought to see 8 out of 20 of the top 20 brands being new over a 5 period was phenomenal, and I suspect a much higher churn than in other categories. And I imagine that the recession and digital transformation has been the critical reason as to why that's happened. So companies that aren't keeping pace with changing consumer behaviour are dropping out and are struggling. We've clearly seen the growth of a number of huge players from other markets. So Alibaba going straight in at #1 is again a phenomenal success story.
Yeah, I think one of the key pieces there is their ability to drive value as well as convenience. And convenience really means access for the shoppers in terms of how they want it. I think also having a differentiated proposition matters more. The shoppers have so many options around them and so many options always available online. They really have to do something special to capture the attention and loyalty of shoppers.
I think the ones that have made the investments in the infrastructures have really retained that. So when you look at the Verizon Fios, the AT&T Uverse, that's really kind of set the footprint. They put in the capital that's spread out there. They got the whole bundle and they're making an impact. You've talked to those people that use them and they become loyalists, whereas before they didn't really have loyalists. People were kind of willing to change. So I think kind of that capital investment kind of kept them ahead of the game. Obviously the investment in the towers and the structure they've done as well has kept them in the wireless game.
And it's interesting that the auto brands in general have fallen behind. And I think it's to do with the dynamics I was just talking about. Those brands still mean something to consumers, but quite what they mean, quite what their value is in the future is less clear. As we move into a mobility world in the developed economies especially, where the car is just one piece of a mobility solution, and where we move into a world in which the vehicle is a technology hub, different brands have a saliency for consumers.